Welcome to a Bunkys Build video!
After COVID-19 lockdown started, we had to make an office space. We had our office space on a loft where we have carpet on the flooring.
This created issues with the chairs. When trying to move on the carpet, the chair legs would sink in and become almost unmovable.
We attempted to put down a store-bought plastic chair mat, but it didn't work as well as we wanted it to.
First thing we did was we laid down the new flooring on the carpet in order to get a good measurement. Our supervisor and marketing director had his doubts, and he decided to protest. He ended up giving up, and we were able to lay down the floor.
We had to take the phone junction box out of the way to have it flush against the wall. Then Tim starts cutting into the carpeting. Then Tim started cutting the carpet just along the width of the plywood. The supervisor was micromanaging him. We decided to put 2 sheets of plywood side by side. We moved the plywood sheet so we can cut it the second time to accommodate for the second sheet.
After we got done cutting the carpet, we went ahead and rolled it up and set it off to the side.
After that, we had to remove the tack strip that was holding the carpet down. We also had to remove a lot of staples and all other unnecessary material. We attempted to put the sheet of plywood under the trim, but it didn't work as we planned. So we had to remove the trim to get the sheet flush against the wall.
Now we went ahead and got the old carpet out of the way by dropping it over the loft. We clean up the area before placing the second sheet down. And now we go downstairs in order to make custom T molding.
We decided to make this molding out of cherry that we had on hand, and we started the process by cleaning a select board.
We saw that the board was cupped a little bit, so we went ahead and took it to the joiner. After getting a fairly straight side, we went ahead and cut it into strips with the table saw.
As we were using 4x8 sheets of plywood as our flooring, we needed fairly long strips of cherry to make up the molding.
After cutting the board into 2 equal-sized strips, I set the saw blade at a slight angle in order to cut these 2 parts of the profile. We started working on the profile of the T-mold, starting with the vertical cuts here. And by flipping it over, we were able to make the same cut on the other side.
Once the vertical cuts were done, we flipped the board to make the horizontal cuts in order to complete the T-section.
We did a brief cleanup, then we went ahead and set up the miter saw.
Next step was to measure the exact length needed for both the strips to frame the flooring. Then we put 45-degree miters on one end of each strip.
Moving around 8-foot boards is a little much for my shop, but we were able to manage it.
Last but not the least, we gave both the strips a thorough sanding. We sanded the top surface so it became a nice, smooth, rounded top.
Now we put the strips upstairs in order to do a dry fit.
To fix the trim to the flooring, we made sort of an assembly line. Tim went ahead and drilled the hole at about 2 feet apart, and I went ahead and screwed the trim in place.
So we went ahead and cleaned up the area, and then Aditi went ahead and applied putty to all the screw holes, while I used construction adhesive in order to get the trim on the wall. After a quick sand down, everything looked absolutely gorgeous.
Seeing as I was really hard at work, my husband found just that exact time to go ahead and finish up the project. Of course, he couldn't do it all by himself. He had to ask me for help.
To protect the carpet and the flooring, we went ahead and used painter's tape in order to go around the trim. And our supervisor decided to stop by in order to say hello. And to remind everyone to like and subscribe. I used a high gloss coat of polyurethane on the trim.
Right after putting in the glass coat, it brought out the details in the cherry trim. Lighter color flooring and slightly darker cherry trim made a really beautiful contrast.
The wood flooring in our office really made the entire room feel more professional.
Here is how the office space looked before. It was really difficult to move around on an office chair on the carpet, but this new flooring made it so much easier. I hope you enjoyed watching our little office remodel, and I hope you consider subscribing. Thank you very much.